Today, we have a ton of news in WWE, NWA, and AEW, so as always, check out the timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off talking about Becky Lynch. As you guys know, I talked about WWE going away from scripts for certain wrestlers. This is something that we've been following for several months at this point. Becky Lynch actually just revealed on an Instagram live session with former WWE writer Brian Gerwitz, just kind of how the promos work in WWE. And one of the things that she mentioned, people like her and Seth Rollins have basically gained this equity in the company in which, they can kind of go away from the script. Now, WWE at this point will ask them, hey, we want you to achieve this, this, and this. But for the most part, you could kind of just do what you want. And this is a really big follow-up to what we have been talking about with certain wrestlers being able to do that. And of course, if you guys saw my video last week about Bray Wyatt's WWE return, we talked a little bit about Triple H giving him some creative freedom. It sounds like WWE is completely different under the Triple H umbrella compared to Vince McMahon. Now, obviously, when it comes to promos, there's going to be certain wrestlers who have the experience and the ability and the comfortability to deliver promos without a script. And obviously, you're going to notice some wrestlers just don't have those same abilities. So I think it makes a lot of sense that WWE is going this route. I think it's the right way to go. I even noticed a little bit more so on WWE Raw and SmackDown as of late that promos don't seem as forced. So this is a good move, in my opinion, for WWE, and I do look forward to seeing what happens next. Now, one concern that I have is how much creative freedom are people given? Can you trust all of these people? We don't want people coming to WWE specifically for creative freedom. You definitely want to have the person in charge continue to be the person in charge. The same could be said for AEW or virtually any other wrestling company. I want to turn our attention to the NWA because there's been a lot of talk about the NWA recently, especially when it comes to Empowerrr. Now, if you guys remember, the Empowerrr pay-per-view was something that NWA did, and basically it was an all-women's pay-per-view. Other promotions were involved. AEW wrestlers were involved. And then there was this rumor that basically came out recently that NWA was not going to be doing that. However, Billy Corgan has recently let people know with NBC Sports Boston that he does have plans to bring it back. But one of the reasons why he has yet to do so is because there are not enough TV-ready female wrestlers on the open market. Now, I find this a little bit concerning, but I also agree to a certain extent. AEW and WWE have a plethora of talent, especially in the women's division. However, with that being said, there are still a ton of women free agents that haven't been signed or haven't been picked up by a company that is holding them down exclusively. Now, I don't know what issues Tony Khan and Billy Corgan had with the first Empowerrr. However, if Impact and AEW can loan out talent to NWA to pull off another successful pay-per-view, then it could very well work in Billy Corgan's favor. Now, I remember originally when Empowerrr went and became a thing, there was talk on the internet and Reddit that maybe Empowerrr did not have a lot of television buys or pay-per-view buys. And maybe that could be the reason why Empowerrr was never brought back. However, nonetheless, Billy Corgan ensures the audience that Empowerrr will be coming back. And honestly, I do want to see it come back. I think it's a good idea for NWA to be the leader in this specific category. And also, there's still women free agents that haven't been signed yet that could be part of this. So I don't know exactly what Billy Corgan's vision is for the NWA brand. I feel like it's all over the place at times. There's a lot of potential with the NWA, but I do constantly talk about the nostalgia factor, and that is something I don't like. And now we know EC3 is joining NWA, so I don't really know exactly what to expect going forward for this brand. EC3 actually called himself a hypocrite because, well, he said he was done going for these, he was rallying against these 3-letter brands, AEW, TNA, WWE, all of that stuff, right? But then he launched CYN, which was Control Your Narrative. And at this point, I don't even know what Control Your Narrative is anymore. It just does not seem like it's been I don't think it's off to a hot start. Now, with that being said, EC3 will be at NWA 74. And I'm actually happy for EC3, and I'm happy for NWA bringing him in because I think he's a hell of a talent. But I just don't know what the vision is for this company. The NWA brand is a little bit interesting to me. There's a lot of play off of the nostalgia factor. But I think when you look at the booking and the creative department, they've done such a great job. I just don't know if this is as attractive of a product. And keep in mind, there's a lot of competition: GCW, MLW, Impact, AEW, WWE, New Japan, All Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah. There are so many wrestling companies out there, and we haven't even mentioned AAA or CMLL. So, you know, here's the thing. When I look at EC3 coming to the NWA, I think it's a really good thing. I think EC3 can help NWA grow, but I also believe the NWA needs to do something different. And doing Empowerrr, I thought, was a great way to be different, but then they kind of, I don't know, they're losing momentum maybe. Very strange. EC3's at NWA 74. We'll see what comes from it. Guys, Jack Evans wants to come back to AEW. He did an interview with PW Mania, and he was basically asked to describe what motivates him at this stage of his career, given the fact that he's been doing this for over 20 years. And one of the things that he mentioned was his AEW stint. He believes he didn't do as well there as he could have, but nonetheless, he was grateful for the experience. He says he doesn't know how likely it will be that he'll be back there, even though he would love to. It's a very sought after promotion that everyone's trying to go to. Guys, I've said this before in my video when I talked about him leaving. I feel like they dropped the ball with Jack Evans. They had something there with Jack Evans and Helico, and the fact that they weren't even really given a push or a chance to get a push for the tag team division is really beyond me. Keep in mind, they were very, very early signings for the company, and then just as time went on, they didn't do anything. And here's the thing: when I see something like that happen, when I see AEW not book them, I understand there's tons of other better tag teams. But just because there's other better tag teams doesn't mean you can't be using your teams to give them an opportunity. And I just think they kind of dropped the ball. Guys, Kenny Omega is set for his AEW return. We've been following the return rumors for a while. Now the Young Bucks have updated their Twitter bio, suggesting that they found their partner. Obviously, there's been teases on being the Elite. The idea is that Kenny Omega is set to return to AEW Dynamite tonight, August 17, 2022. What I find to be very strange, though, is the idea of Kenny and the Young Bucks being a trio in the tournament, when really the Young Bucks and Hangman Page made more sense. Now, I believe that was the original plan, but I also want to point out the Undisputed Era right now battling some injuries and stuff like that. There is a lot of issues there. I don't know what this trios tournament is going to look like, but I have a very strong feeling that Kenny Omega, if he is with the Young Bucks, will be holding those trios titles. It's going to be very interesting to see how AEW goes about it, but I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for Kenny Omega's return? I personally think AEW needs it. Let me know what you think down below.